Joining us now is Democratic Congresswoman Maxine Waters of California. She is the ranking member on the House Financial Services Committee, and Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz of Florida. She is the former chair of the DNC.
Congresswoman Wasserman Schultz, it's good to see you again. It's been a while. Lots happened over the summer, and here we are as we head into the fall with the president making a power grab against the Federal Reserve. They've telegraphed and promoted this effort through Project 2025 and other means for quite some time. But we're now finding ourselves in this space. As you come back to Washington after the holiday this weekend, and you assess where we are, what is your assessment on this power grab against the Fed? What are Democrats thinking about in terms of responding once you're officially back here in town? And then, bottom line, what does it mean for the American wallet, for folks out there, if Donald Trump gets away with booting off responsible leadership and putting on, troglodytes when it comes to the economy?
Well, Michael and Simone, thanks so much for having me. I'll be honest, I didn't have Trump overthrowing the central bank on my bingo card this summer. And the fact that we're even having this conversation, like Simone said, is breathtaking. I mean, if he wants to tank the dollar and figure out a way to do it as fast as possible, then, jeopardizing and eliminating the independence of the central bank, which is who is the backbone of our nation's economy, is the way to do it. Trump is doing this pure and simple because he has not been able to strong arm the Federal Reserve into lowering interest rates. And we already have a fragile economy. We already see the tariffs that he's been imposing dramatically increasing prices. Today, we heard that the huge tariffs that previously lower priced items coming from overseas were going to be exempt from, now they will be imposed. So the impact on our buying power and the impact on our economy when it comes to our purchasing power is going to be dramatically impacted, to say nothing of the fact that he is completely upending the independence of our healthcare system and our scientific research. He is threatening our nation's safety when it comes to meddling with FEMA, threatening to close it down and hiring completely unqualified individuals to run it. And then add insult to injury, he is firing the head of our CDC. If he wants to make sure that we have, if Kennedy wants to make sure we have qualified individuals running our healthcare system, he should resign.
Congresswoman Waters, I think Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz lays out a very concerning picture, if you will. You add what we're talking about this morning during the court hearing, if you will, on the suit that Governor Lisa Cook has brought against the president, the board of the Federal Reserve, and, to be very clear, Jerome Powell. And it's just striking to me. This is what the New York Times had to, pardon me, I don't know if it's the Times, but this is what we have about this new playbook from the president. It's about mortgage fraud targets, and he's targeting political foes with unproven mortgage fraud accusations. Today is Lisa Cook, Federal Reserve Governor. He's had lobbed the same things to Ed Tisch James, New York Attorney General, Senator Adam Schiff. Lisa Cook hasn't been charged with any crime, and today in court, her legal team highlighted that there was not any investigation or charge being leveled at her attempted firing. So help me understand, Congresswoman, what is really going on?
Well, I think, not only do I believe I know what's going on, I think a lot of folks watching this, a lot of elected officials and analysts and experts and academicians, all watching the president exercise unusual power. Mm-hmm. This is flagrant. This is something that the president has decided to do, be damned the Constitution of the United States, where an independent agency is under attack. He wants to control the Fed. He wants to be able to determine interest rates. He wants to be able to have the people on the governing board that will do exactly as they are told. This is extraordinarily dangerous. This is the makings of a dictator who is trying to control the entire economy, determining what interest rates are and what they are not, and if they don't get frightened out of office and just leave, he's going to fire them. Well, the Constitution does not allow that. And so the question becomes, the Constitution says for cause. What is cause? Undefined. And so he does not get a chance to exercise any executive order to fire. And I want you to know Lisa Cook is doing the right thing. She is taking him to court on a temporary restraining order. It was heard today. Let's see where it goes from here, because as you said, there's no proof. There's no investigation. There's nothing but the president saying, I want you out. It doesn't work.
You know, I want to pick up on that last part from Congresswoman Waters, Debbie, because it speaks so much to where we are right now, and it speaks so much to what we know in front of our eyes. We see this happening, and in one sense, it's really fast because it's one thing after the other, but in another, it's really kind of like slow motion, right? You just sit there and it goes like, oh my God.
It's like watching a car crash.
It's like watching a car crash. And in so many ways, we've come to this moment where Lisa Cook has become the sort of the figure, the image of the Project 2025 effort, where she, as an independent agent, as an independent actor within our financial system, a part of our financial infrastructure, whom, went through a process and was vetted. And yes, it was a tough battle, but she got confirmed and was ready to serve out her 14-year term. But this president has other plans. And part of that is the power grab. The other part is the self-enrichment, the reporting that this man could walk out of the office with an extra $3.4 billion. If he walks out of the office, and that's another conversation we're going to talk about at some point. But Lisa Cook is this symbol now. How do you see her as a point of discussion for the country? Because in one sense, she's representative of the independence this country was built on, right? Institutions, sort of checks and balances, the freedom to govern ourselves. He wants to wipe all this away. He wants to control every aspect of it. How do you make that case?
Well, let me just say that I think that the way that you're approaching this and you're describing this is absolutely what should be done. This is a moment that everyone should pay attention to. This is a brazen disregard for the Constitution of the United States of America. What are we going to do? Normally, in what he has been doing, we have been filing amicus briefs in court to try and deal with some of his executive orders. But this goes beyond this, because this stands to basically upend the entire economy. This stands to really deal with what is going to happen on Wall Street, what's going to happen with interest rates, what's going to happen with the President of the United States being able to make decisions that he will personally benefit from. And so the world, and certainly the United States, should be watching this very closely. And as far as I'm concerned, we have to move very aggressively. It is not about, lingering and trying to think that maybe the courts will help us. I want, even though I know it may not happen, the cabinet that he's appointed, a bunch of his sycophants who probably won't do what I would recommend. It is time to call for Article 25 of the Constitution of the United States of America to determine his unfitness, to determine that something's wrong with this president. And I would suggest that we move very aggressively to talk about the danger to this country and to our democracy, and not play around with this, because this is absolutely one of the most destructive things that this president could do.
Congresswoman Wasserman Schultz, I mean, your take on this, because I think it's jarring to hear Congresswoman Waters say it's time for the 25th Amendment. But, I mean, presidents have been impeached for much less.
This is true.
This one included, Simone.
Come on now.
Twice. Not once, but twice. You know, he knows Donald Trump's real preference is to fire Jerome Powell. But, you know, he knows that that's a bridge too far. So what he's doing instead is he's taken a monkey wrench and he's going to go in and try to, you know, meddle with the component parts of the Federal Reserve by trying to fire Lisa Cook on something that she like was maintained in the court case today, and she's not even being investigated for. By the way, the so-called fraud that she is being accused of, she didn't even get preferred interest rates on any of the mortgages that she obtained, which demonstrates that she didn't break the law. It's preposterous. What he's trying to do is make sure that he can bend the central bank to his will so that he can make sure that he controls our economy politically. And it is going to be devastating. What needs to happen is we need the CEOs of major corporations, corporate America, whose bottom line will be gutted if this happens, need to speak up. It is time to pull the cord, to sound the alarm bell. And I mean, Congresswoman Waters and I and our colleagues on the Democratic side have been fighting Trump in Congress, in the courts, and in the community. And we need corporate America to step up and be responsible here and make sure that the American people, help us make sure the American people understand what's at stake if he's allowed to actually succeed in taking over and controlling what happens at the central bank.